Hello everyone, I'm Mark. Welcome to Masa Military. In the recent 3-day military exercise around Taiwan by China, the most attention-grabbing event was the first deployment of China's first domestically built aircraft carrier, the Shandong, into the Western Pacific through the first island chain for training. However, long-distance training exercises do not necessarily equate to combat capabilities. How much further does the Shandong have to go to achieve true combat readiness? Due to the Liaoning undergoing maintenance in the shipyard and the Fujian still being outfitted, the Shandong is the only carrier of the PLA Navy that can go out to sea. The U.S. Navy currently has a strong presence in the Asia-Pacific region, including the USS Nimitz, USS Ronald Reagan, and the amphibious assault ships USS Makin Island and USS America. China deployed an aircraft carrier strike group off Taiwan's east coast on April 4th, and the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force discovered the Shandong carrier formation about 300 kilometers south of Hateruma Island in Okinawa on April 5th. They noticed that the Shandong only had one Type 054A frigate, the Luzhou, and the Type 901 comprehensive supply ship, the Chaganhu, with it, which was much fewer compared to a normal carrier strike group. The Shandong is the first domestically produced aircraft carrier of China, based on the Liaoning aircraft carrier and improved upon. Its full displacement is nearly 70,000 tons, powered by steam boilers with a maximum speed of 31 knots. However, because it uses heavy oil boilers to produce steam, its acceleration is slow, requiring several hours to accelerate from cruising speed to full speed. As a conventional powered aircraft carrier, neither the Liaoning nor the Shandong have a long self-sustaining capability. The Liaoning, which has been in service for 10 years, spends little time on long-distance patrols, usually only 40 to 60 days per year. The Shandong should have a similar amount of time. This is far different from the at least 6-month deployment time of U.S. aircraft carrier groups. The flight deck of the Shandong uses the same ski jump takeoff method as the Liaoning, but the ship's structure and compartment distribution have been improved, and it can carry up to 36 J-15 fighter jets, compared to the Liaoning's 24, as well as other helicopters. However, so far, no pictures of a fully loaded deck have been seen for either the Liaoning or the Shandong, with at most 10 J-15s and a few helicopters on the deck. During its recent voyage, the Japanese Self-Defense Forces observed 10 J-15 fighter jets, 3 Z-18 helicopters, and 1 Z-9 helicopter on the Shandong's flight deck. The displacement of U.S. nuclear-powered aircraft carriers exceeds 100,000 tons, with 4 catapults and about 60 to 75 carrier-based aircraft, with a maximum of over 80, more than twice that of the Shandong. As for carrier-based aircraft, the PLA currently only has the J-15 fighter jet and a few types of helicopters. The time required for the ski jump takeoff method is relatively long. The Kuzia aircraft carrier's takeoff record is 30 minutes for 12 Su-33s. Based on this speed, the Chinese aircraft carrier can only take off 24 J-15 fighter jets in 60 to 90 minutes at the fastest. If only a long launch position is used, it may take more than 2 hours to take off 24 planes. The U.S. aircraft carrier has 4 catapults, and the Nimitz class carrier can take off 2 or 3 fixed-wing aircraft at the same time. When all 4 catapults are working, launching 40 F/A-18 fighter jets, which is the first wave of the attack, only takes 20 to 30 minutes, and they are all fully fueled and armed, which is far beyond the capability of the Chinese aircraft carrier. The J-15 is developed from the Soviet Su-33, both of which are heavy carrier-based aircraft based on the Su-27, resulting in a large structural weight and storage space. The empty weight of the J-15 is up to 17.5 tons, and it can increase to nearly 35 tons when fully fueled and armed, then cannot perform a ski jump takeoff. With a 105-meter takeoff distance, the J-15 can only carry 2 PL-12 medium-range air-to-air missiles and 2 PL-8B short-range combat missiles. With a 195-meter takeoff distance, the J-15 can carry 6 500-kilogram bombs, or 2 YJ anti-ship missiles, and 2 PL-8B short-range air-to-air missiles. However, in most cases, the J-15 seen are only equipped with lighter air-to-air missiles, which can only play a role in air superiority. One major weakness of the Shandong is its insufficient reconnaissance capability. The radar equipped on the U.S. aircraft carriers is mainly used for mid to short-range air defense, while long-range warning is mainly provided by the E-2D Hawkeye. The radar detection range of the E-2D can reach 550 kilometers, and each aircraft carrier is equipped with 4 to 6 E-2s, which can ensure 24-hour long-range warning capability. In contrast, the Shandong mainly relies on its own phased array radar, supplemented by the early warning helicopters, and has almost no long-range warning capability. Long-range warning capability is one of the most important capabilities of a carrier strike group, which not only affects the ability to launch preemptive attacks, but also relates to the overall defense of the formation. Early warning aircraft can detect enemy fleets, aircraft, and incoming missiles in a timely manner, providing more warning time for their own formation. Although the Shandong has completed its first long-distance voyage, it cannot be said to have achieved combat capability yet. Combat capability requires evaluation in many areas, not just long-distance sailing. We can take the latest and most advanced U.S. carrier, the Gerald R. Ford class, as an example to see what key tests are required for combat deployment. The carrier's greatest combat power lies in its aircraft. The number of carrier-based aircraft launched each day is directly related to the carrier strike group's attack capability. Before being deployed in combat, the Ford class underwent over 10,000 catapult and landing training exercises. The Ford class can launch a maximum of 220 aircraft sorties per day, while the Nimitz class can launch 160. The gap between the Shandong aircraft carrier and American carriers in terms of aircraft takeoff and landing capability is quite large. According to observations by the Japanese Self-Defense Forces, during the 3 days from April 7 to 9, the Shandong carrier conducted about 80 jet takeoffs and landings and about 40 helicopter takeoffs and landings, and the J-15 fighter jet was able to take off and land more than 20 times in a day during training. Of course, this is still just training, but it is said to have exceeded Liaoning's highest record. In addition, wind direction, wind speed, and sea conditions can all affect ski jump takeoff, while the ability to adapt to catapult takeoff weather is much better. The Ford also underwent 3 full ship shock trials. During the 4-month testing evolution, the first-in-class aircraft carrier withstood the impact of 3 40,000-pound underwater blasts, released at distances progressively closer to the ship. Another important test is the ammunition loading test. In April 2022, the Ford deployed Seahawk helicopters in the Atlantic Ocean to carry out rapid vertical transport by hoisting, quickly transporting more than 200 pallets of various types of ammunition, or about 245.6 tons, to the ammunition depot of the Ford, verifying the effectiveness of the new weapons elevator and ammunition depot equipment on board. The Ford has a total of 11 new advanced weapons elevators, which use linear synchronous motors and can transport more weapons faster and smoother than the old system, providing an important impetus for combat and maximizing the efficiency of fighter jet launches. The Ford's new ammunition elevating system was still able to operate normally after 3 full ship impact tests conducted in 2021. These important tests are crucial for an aircraft carrier to have actual combat capability. So far, China's 2 aircraft carriers have not passed all of these tests, and it is very doubtful whether they really have combat capability. They may become prominent targets at sea and instead become a burden. Okay, that's my talk today. Please continue to pay attention to Masa Military, and see you next time.